that there's a deeper reason where Hollywood is resisting the success of this film and refusing to acknowledge it. Part of it is absolutely race, that a black man and a black-oriented story from the South, an empowered story from that community. They did the same with Malcolm X. They didn't want to acknowledge it, right?
Yeah.
They didn't
Okay, let's talk about this movie and what it means as far as history making. That hit that no one saw coming, guys.
Yeah,
I'd love your thoughts, guys.
Yeah, I did actually. I have Mark with the C from the Dark Council to thank for the heads up on this film, because I'd seen advertisement for it and I didn't really know what it was about really. And then he's just like, you have to go and see this film. And I saw the trailer and I'm just like, I have to go see this movie. That is one of the slickest trailers I have seen in the longest time. The perfect combination of, you need to see this film. You need to see it like right now. You need to see this film, see how it goes. So I went to see it and I couldn't believe how fast time flew by. And I think one of the reasons, because Variety did this, I don't know if you guys saw my post on X, where they're like, oh, we really don't know if it's going to make their money back or whatever. I said, you didn't say this about Disney's live action Snow White bomb, did you? But you're saying it about Ryan Coogler's movie.
The number
Why
one
are you
movie
saying that?
in the country.
In the country, it only had a 26% drop off. To contrast this, Minecraft had a 52% drop off in the second week. This film is growing legs because, one, it's original. It is something different. It is not something that's rehashed. Two, it's a setting that I'm going to say 80% of the people seeing it will understand. So when you see it, it looks authentic. It's not like it's a farce that people are trying to play at or anything like that. You're not hearing people say, well, oh, they had, a fake Mississippi accent. No, it's very, very true. Sitting watching that movie, it's like I was hearing my grandparents talking to me, because I know what their dialect is. All the cotton fields that were out there, people who were sharecroppers, you see those, slave quarters are reminiscent of plantations. Instead of being slaves, they're now sharecroppers. And yes, you had people who had to go out there and pick cotton and do all of that. So wrap that up in a story that does not insult your audience, that intrigues your audience. Throw in there the horror element, especially if you're a horror junkie. So this is in my top 10 of horror movies, actually.
Wow.
It's that it is that good. And when you have word of mouth get out about, hey, you need to see this movie, it is actually worth sitting through there and seeing. I want to go see it in IMAX. That's what's happening now. And what Hollywood, I think, fails to understand, and they still fail to understand, is that you can have a diverse film that is authentic. And that's the difference. Ryan Coogler has the authenticity in this film. He's not saying white people bad. There's a certain sect of white people in this movie that were bad, but they make that distinction between the two. This is truly a diverse film, historically accurate, and people are just hungry for something different. Films that, don't insult them, something that they're just like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before.
Opposite. I went there on a Tuesday night, and I was utterly blown away. And then I went and saw it again on Wednesday night, right? Because I just had to. Right? Now I'm planning. I've just contacted a friend of mine, a producer in Hollywood. I was like, you have to see this. And we're planning to see it next week, and then I'm planning to see it again in IMAX, right? As a professional, I need to watch this film because every frame is intentional. Every shot, every edit is intentional. I actually disagree with you on this. I think you think it's a near perfect film. I think it is a perfect film. I think I do believe they cut out some of the stuff. I think he did it on purpose because he wanted the audience to make connections on purpose, but that's another conversation. With regard to the thing that you're raising and what Lorena's raising about the reaction, so Shanatsky rightly pointed out in the chat that there's a deeper reason where Hollywood is resisting the success of this film and refusing to acknowledge it. Part of it is absolutely race, that a black man and a black-oriented story from the South, an empowered story from that community. They did the same with Malcolm X. They didn't want to acknowledge it, right?
Yeah.
They didn't want to Same thing. They didn't want to give Spike Lee's accolades. They didn't want to give Denzel the Oscar he earned. They don't want to, right? However, there's another layer to it, right? Which is that Ryan Coogler apparently has a special deal. He was able to negotiate a deal with Warner Brothers that he's going to get the rights back to this film in 25 years. That it's not perpetual copyright as normally happens. Warner Brothers is going to give this movie back to him, and his estate's going to own it, right? And because he's that confident of its long-term cinematic impact and revenue stream. And he also, as a black man, he wants to control his material. It's the same thing as Ray Charles getting back his masters, which we saw in the Charles movie. That even Sinatra couldn't pull that off, but Ray Charles had the ability to get those back, because once you control the masters, you control the copyright of your work. And so this is something I believe Quentin Tarantino had made some kind of similar deal to that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They didn't have a problem with that, but a black man making this deal, and now them realizing this deal is going to make him rich, this deal is going to make his grandkids rich, right? It's something that Hollywood, which doesn't like to be outsmarted, is really pissed off about. And like, they were outsmarted once before when George Lucas got the toy rights to Star Wars. They got outsmarted there, and they lost billions of dollars. They made Lucas a billionaire, and they're going to lose something out of this, because I have a feeling that an entire world of a franchise now is going to come out of this. You know, you got books that are going to come out of this. You got stuff that's going to come out of this, because I want to see more of this world. I want a prequel story of these Irish vampires. I'm in love with this world, and this guy controls it, you know, and he's a young man. He's like in his 30s. He's going to get the rights back to this when he's in his 50s, you know, and he's going to control it for the remainder of his life, and his estate will. That's something Hollywood is very angry about, and they don't want to emphasize its success. But the phenomenon that I'm seeing, where that a week into this, the crowds are growing, where suddenly theaters that were not sold out last Saturday are selling out on a Wednesday. That's word of mouth. That's something that's unstoppable, and Hollywood has to face this. And Ryan Coogler just outsmarted them like Lucas outsmarted them. That's very rare. And for a black man to do that, it's kind of one of the themes of this film. For a black man to outsmart the system don't.